Hey everyone, before this video begins, I'd like to make a quick announcement. If you'd like to skip over and go straight to the video, I've timestamped the intro down below. In case you haven't heard, Tears of the Kingdom has been leaked in its entirety online. As such, some of you may be wondering if this video is based on leaks. The answer is no. This video is not based on leaks. Everything here is purely based on speculation. However, because the game has been leaked, this means that there are people who are going to try and spoil it for you. In an effort to avoid this, I will not be looking at any comments until I have finished the game, and I highly suggest you do the same. If you want to go into the comments anyway, then be my guest. Just know that I take no responsibility for whether or not Tears of the Kingdom spoilers are down below. The release of Tears of the Kingdom is rapidly approaching, as we are now less than a week away from launch. Guess that means I should make one last video, huh? But what to do a video on? The Tears? No, that's overdone. Everyone's done a video on that already. Ganondorf? Nah, there's already so many videos on him. The potential return of the Seven Sages? No, that's too obvious! Everyone would be expecting that! Let's see, video topics, wait! That! We're talking about that! Today we'll be discussing the giant monster in the storm above Mount Hebra. Is it a reimagining of a classic Zelda enemy that we've seen before, or is it something entirely new? That's what I'm here to find out. First things first, we need to gain a better understanding of the creature by analyzing its design. The creature appears to be an arthropod with 5 eyes, several large limbs, and 2 large mandibles. Each limb appears to have small spikes on it, and how they're designed remind me of those of a crab. The creature also seems to have an armored body. While it's hard to say for sure, it could potentially be made of ice, judging by the color of its body, and how we can see large ice crystals coming up as it rises towards Link and Tulin. So why is it important for us to establish this information about the creature? Well, this allows us to look at enemies from the series' past and see if it compares to any bug-like enemies we've seen before. So that means I'll have to play every single Zelda game and take notes on every bug-like enemy to meticulously compare their designs to the creature in the storm to look for any minor similarities between them in what could be a completely fruitless attempt. Or I could just look at the Zelda wiki. Yeah, I'll take that option. After reviewing all 44 options of arthropod enemies on the wiki, yes, there's surprisingly a filter for that, I found 3 enemies that have similar features to our mystery creature. From here, we'll analyze each of these 3 enemies to see what works and what doesn't. Maybe we'll find ourselves a match, or maybe we won't. First up, we have the Devil Ant. Devil Ants haven't made too many appearances, first appearing in A Link to the Past before making 2 more subsequent appearances in Four Swords Adventures and A Link Between Worlds. Devil Ants are pretty similar to the creature in the storm. They both have large mandibles with fairly slim looking bodies. What's also interesting is how the storm creature emerges from what appears to be either a vortex or portal of some kind, which is fairly similar to how devil ants emerge from the sand to spit fireballs at Link. However, there are a few problems with the creature being a devil ant. For one, I don't think that the devil ants have long crab-like limbs as the creature does, as we only see them in the sand. Because the creature is found inside the large storm above Hebra, it seems reasonable that it can fly, or at the very least levitate, something that devil ants can't do. Finally, devil ants are depicted with 2 eyes, while the creature has 5. And none of this is mentioning the fact that devil ants aren't bosses, just regular enemies. So unfortunately, I don't think that our mystery creature is a devil ant. However, the devil ants could still make a return. As I was writing this script, I remembered that the Gerudo Desert has a bit of a sinkhole problem now. Maybe those aren't sinkholes, but devil ant pits, made to lure in any unsuspecting passerby. So who knows? I guess we'll have to wait until release to find out. Next up, we have Lanmola. Lanmola are large centipedes that have only appeared in 3 mainline games: The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, and Link's Awakening. They've also made an appearance in the spin-off game, Cadence of Hyrule. Their appearance has changed a number of times over the years. The artwork from the original game depicts them with a single eye, small mandibles, and small limbs. The artwork from A Link to the Past shows them with large mandibles, 1 eye, and I don't even know if those are small limbs or armor. In Link's Awakening on the Switch, however, Lanmola seem to look more like real-world centipedes, with a brown color, many small limbs, 2 eyes, and small mandibles. Lanmola have certainly undergone some appearance changes over the years, so could it be that our storm creature is yet another redesign? Unfortunately, I don't think that's the case. While the Lanmola has seen a few redesigns over the years, one thing is usually consistent: its centipede-like design. In all appearances of the Lanmola, they have small limbs and small mouths. Just like the devil ants, Lanmola also have nowhere near the right amount of eyes, with them usually only having 1. This isn't even mentioning how they're never depicted in the games as massive creatures. While they are considerably larger than Link, Lanmola have never been depicted at a colossal size like our storm creature. However, while they aren't depicted as large creatures in-game, some artwork tells a different story. 2 pieces of art from the original game show how large the developers intended the Lanmola to be back in the day, and although it isn't canon, this appearance of a Lanmola from the 1992 A Link to the Past comic book bears a striking resemblance to our storm creature. Last, but certainly not least, we have Gohma. I'm sure that every veteran Zelda player here knows who Gohma is, but for those of you who have only played Breath of the Wild or haven't had a chance to play any of the games that Gohma appears in, here's some background. Gohma is a reoccurring boss in the Zelda series, appearing in The Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening, Ocarina of Time, Oracle of Seasons, Wind Waker, and Four Swords Adventures. It's a classic Zelda boss that hasn't been seen in a mainline game for a few years, with its most recent appearance being in the spin-off game, Hyrule Warriors, from 2014. Not only that, but another classic enemy from the original Zelda, Leok, is making a return in Tears of the Kingdom, so who's to say that Gohma can't do the same? Like the Lanmola, Gohma's design has drastically changed over the years, and it isn't usually consistent. While it usually appears the same in its 2D appearances, its 3D appearances tend to change how it looks. However, one design in particular bears a striking resemblance to our storm creature, the Wind Waker design. Comparing the two side by side, you can see a resemblance. Both have large mandibles for grabbing prey, large crab-like limbs with spikes, with larger ones near the head, an armored body, and a mouth full of sharp teeth. So then, is that it? Did we actually determine that the storm creature is some form of Gohma? Well, as much as I'd like to say we did, there's one major problem. While the design of Gohma has changed numerous times, one thing is always consistent. Gohma always has 1 eye. So, unfortunately, unless they've decided to completely throw out the trend they've kept for the past 37 years, our storm creature is not a Gohma. So, if our 3 most likely candidates for the storm creature don't exactly match, then that would mean that this has to be an original enemy that we've never seen before. Or is it? While it may not be an enemy we've seen before, I think I can determine where it takes inspiration from. You see, as I was researching all the arthropod enemies in the series, I stumbled across something that I had completely forgotten about. When creating a champion dropped, fans were given a look at some concept art for Breath of the Wild's Guardians, with a small handful standing out in particular and spreading across the internet like wildfire. Those of you who watched any Zelda channels back then know which one I'm talking about, but for those unfamiliar, I'd like to introduce you to what could have been the Guardians in Breath of the Wild. Yeah, they're terrifying, like something out of a Tim Burton film. However, some of you might recognize that I'm only showing 3 of the 4. That's because this is going to sound a little crazy at first, but hear me out. What if our storm creature is a redesigned version of the crab? There isn't much of a resemblance between the two at first glance, but there are 2 striking similarities. Both creatures have 5 large eyes and crab-like appendages. It's also important to remember that concepts can be rejected for one game only to find their home in another game. For example, in both creating a champion and a small 3-part series on the making of Breath of the Wild, we see that one of the concepts for Link would be that he would have a motorcycle. And what did we get at the end of the Champion's Ballad? The Master Cycle 0. Not only that, but in the first part of that same series, we can see one of the early concepts of Link had him missing an arm, with the next concept showing Link using a Sheikah prosthetic arm, with images off to the side showing ways it could help him solve puzzles and navigate the world. Sound familiar? And what does that version of Link just so happen to be holding? A broken Master Sword. If you still need more proof, there was a presentation at the 2017 Game Developer Conference that showed off a variety of concept art from Breath of the Wild. One of those pieces of art was this image here, which shows Ganondorf on top of a large mountain that has been raised into the sky. Now just replace mountain with Hyrule Castle, and you've essentially got the same thing that's happening in Tears of the Kingdom. My point here is that discarded concepts from Breath of the Wild could have easily been used in Tears of the Kingdom. So who's to say that the development team didn't look at the concept of a crab-like guardian and spruce it up a bit, changing it so it resembled Wind Waker's Goma, while also giving it an ice theme to make it feel more unique. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. It means a lot to see people make it this far. If you enjoyed it and want to see more videos from me, then please do consider subscribing and leaving a like. It's free, and you can always unsubscribe later if you end up hating my guts. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time.